Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to Mindful Yoga. Today we're going to be doing a yoga for pelvic health, one in a two-part series. And we'll open with some wholehearted breathing and a quote from Brene Brown on wholehearted living. So let's have a seat where our spine can be long from tailbone up through the root of the tongue. Hips above knees. There's an ability to sit upright so that our diaphragm can be free and easy to breathe. Settle in now as you arrive on the mat, wholeheartedly arriving here with mind and body and spirit in this present moment. Bring the attention to the breath, which allows us to come into our body, witnessing the diaphragm moving up and down, the muscles inside the lower rib cage, ribs reaching out to the sides and the back. Filling those lower ribs with air as the lungs expand. All little tubes and sacs of the lungs filling with each breath and letting it go. Letting that breath spread throughout the body and bring relaxation. Wholeheartedly breathing so that the blood carries the oxygen down through the legs to the feet, out through shoulders, elbows down through the fingertips, up through the neck, into the brain and eyes, ears, nose, mouth. The whole body alive. Continue breathing. Brene Brown writes, wholehearted living is about engaging in our lives from a place of worthiness. It means cultivating the courage and connection to wake up in the morning and think, no matter what gets done and how much is left undone, I am enough. No matter how much gets left undone, I'm enough. It's going to bed at night thinking, yes, I am imperfect and vulnerable and sometimes afraid. But that doesn't change the truth that I am also brave, that I am worthy of love and belonging. Just breathing on that for a few more breaths. And then coming back into your surroundings, taking a look around. Let's rise up into a standing position. Let the chest and chin come together, chin turning, making a necklace across the chest. And then chin coming up over shoulder on each side. It's beginning to open up that cervical spine. Then coming back through center, lifting the chin, stretching in the front of the throat, and coming back down. Just helping the body to wake up and to get ready to think about pelvic health. Then bringing the eyes up to the horizon, Let the right ear come down to the right shoulder. Turn the nose slightly up towards the ceiling. Let the left hand come out, thumb down, fingers wide, back behind the waist. Draw the whole body up from the feet, up through pelvic floor, up through diaphragm and the clavicle. Opening through the front of the chest by doing this, and also realigning that muscle that comes from the back of the ear down to the middle of the top of the breastbone. And then coming up, let the left ear come down to the left shoulder. Gaze goes up slightly, right hand goes out and back behind. Once again, letting the feet feel the weight of the body, feel the hips above them. Drawing up through the spine to the back of the throat and then coming out. So just opening up our chest a little bit. Bring the feet wide and let's begin to circle rather slowly through the middle of the body, feeling our hip joints, the movement in our pelvic bones as we move around this circle. We have basically 3 bones that make up, well, they're pairs of bones in 2 cases, that make up our pelvis. Come around the opposite direction. If we move our hands up a little bit, we're feeling our ilium, our hip bones, one on each side. And I think we're all familiar with the pubic bone, the hard bone here in the front. And then at the bottom of the pelvic bowl, there's the ischium, which we can feel better when we're lying down, and we'll come back to that. But they're kind of the sits bones back there that we're familiar with, and come back through center. Now, let's breathe a minute before we sit down. Just letting the eyes be soft. When we inhale, the diaphragm and the pelvic floor dip down and expand. As we exhale, they contract up. We'll feel this more clearly when we lie down, but just bringing that to mind's eye right now. Inhaling, imagining the pelvic floor and diaphragm dipping down, relaxing, and then as you exhale, they contract up. Inhale down, exhale up. There's almost a jellyfish movement here as diaphragm and pelvic floor open down and then contract up like a jellyfish or umbrella. Inhale as they come down, exhale as they contract up. So what we're going for here is suppleness in the diaphragm, fluidity in the pelvic floor. No need to always be doing Kegels and wanting always to be building tension in the pelvic floor. Rather, we want fluidity and suppleness that allows us to have both contraction and expansion. Often we carry tension in the pelvic floor. So rather than carrying the tension there, both for mental health and pelvic health, we go for more suppleness and movement. So let's have a seat now. You might sit on a blanket, or if you want something a little higher, that's fine. We're thinking here of a synergistic movement that is contributing to the health of the whole pelvic girdle. We can think of the pelvic floor more as a trampoline than a hammock. Sometimes people say it's a hammock, but a hammock really sinks down. And we don't want too much sinking, we don't want too much tension. So thinking of it more as a trampoline, something that recoils and bounces, can go up and down. The pelvic floor is connected on the sides with the 2 sits bones, in the front to the pubic bone, and into back in the coccyx or the tailbone. So any pull on any one of those, for example, we might be shorter in the front of our body as we collapse over at the computer or whatever, and that will put a pull on the pelvic floor. Likewise, if there's a pull either way in the coccyx, that might tighten the pelvic floor one way or another. And low back pain is produced by this. So we're just trying to become more supple in those areas. Soft gaze, we're going to breathe once again. Imagine that you go into the lobby of a hotel. As you inhale, you take the elevator down to the basement. It's a beautiful basement, beautifully decorated and soft lighting, relaxed sofas and chairs. Everything's soft and inviting. And then you take the elevator up as you exhale, up to the mezzanine or the first or second floor. And as the diaphragm and pelvic floor lift up, you find rooms filled with exercise mats, exercise machines, whatever it is you love to exercise with. So inhaling, taking the elevator down to the basement, soft chairs, soft lighting. And as you exhale, contracting the pelvic floor and the diaphragm, coming up to that exercise room above. A few more times. Inhaling down to the softness. Exhaling up to the exercise room. Just getting mind and body together here, body and breath moving together in this imaginary elevator. So we go for balance here, fluidity, and integration. And now letting that go for a minute, let's talk about the muscles around the pelvis. On the bottom, we have the pelvic floor, and on the top, the diaphragm. We've already established that. In the front, we have the transversus abdominis that is on the lower abdomen. It comes around, attaching to the spine, comes around, wrapping around the body to the center of the body in the low front. We'll come back to that as we lie down. And then in the back, we have the multifidus. The multifidus are little muscles that go between the vertebrae, and they're very important for our support through the lumbar spine and on up the spine, but in this case, we're particularly thinking about the lumbar spine. Let's do an up plank for a moment. So bringing your feet wide on the mat, hands are back behind, fingers might go towards the body. And you might lift up just a little bit, swing back, let the feet arrange themselves where they want to be for good support. And option to bring the hips up. Notice that the pelvic floor is contracted. And the diaphragm has some contraction in it. Transverse abdominis and multifidus are working here. Walk over to the side just a bit. Walk back to center, and then the other side a few steps, and back through center. And that's particularly asking for some cooperation from the multifidus, those little muscles between the vertebrae. And bring yourself down. Now let's come down into a lying position. First is bring your fingers to the hip bones that are sticking out on either side of the front of the pelvic area, the top of the pelvic bowl. Then bring the knees up towards the chest and bring your hands back behind underneath and try to feel the ischium, the sits bones in the back. So that's the bottom bone. And then of course in the front, the pubic bone. So just awareness of those bones. Let's come into a reclined squat. So we're pretending our feet are on the ceiling. This is a great way to do a squat. If squats are a little hard for you, you can do them lying back. That's some of the main benefits. Bring the elbows, if possible, in between the knees. We're going to inhale in a relaxed position. And then as we exhale, push the knees together, elbows push out, knees push in, and the pelvic floor and diaphragm are rising, contracting. Inhale, relax. Exhale, push in, holding the knees with the elbows. My palms are together. So knees don't have to be so far apart. And you might bring your lips pursed together on the exhale to get a little bit more support through the muscles of the pelvic bowl. 2 more times. Then let the feet come down to the mat. Knees come together. Feel the transverse abdominis. So my fingers are in between the hip bones at the front lower area of the abdomen. Inhale, relax through pelvic floor and diaphragm. And as you exhale, use a snake breath, like a hissing sound of a snake. And you'll feel that transverse abdominis engage. Inhale, relax down, pelvic floor, diaphragm. Exhale, hissing snake. Can you feel that transverse abdominis engaging? 1 more time. Now to give some exercise to the transverse abdominis, bring the knees parallel, head and shoulders rise. Bring one hand sliding down so that the thumb is going towards the heel, and then on the other side, thumb going towards heel. You're going over your shoulder blades, shoulder blades arcing from one side to the other. And this engages the transversus abdominis, as well as the pelvic floor. Transversus abdominis is a very important part of our abdominal strength. 1 more time to each side. And bring it back. Now let's bring the feet wide into a windshield wiper position, and just let the knees come over to one side and then over to the other, aware of that rolling across the sacrum in the back, ilium, ischium, pubic bone, all rolling together. Then bring the legs back through center, bring hands so that they're on opposite elbows, elbows bent above the shoulders. We'll let the knees come over to one side, and the arms, elbow leading, will come over to the other side with the nose following that elbow. So legs are going to one direction, elbows are going to the other direction with the nose following them. Inhale as you come up through center, and exhale as you take the twist. That symmetry of body and breath. The suppleness of the diaphragm and the pelvic floor. And 1 more time to each direction. Coming back through middle. Let the hands come to the abdomen. Knees are leaning towards each other. Relax down through the ischium, the back of the ilium, the sacrum, up through the spine. Just feeling the breathing as it is felt through the back of the pelvic bowl. Experiencing that movement of body and breath together as it echoes through the back of the body. Extend the left leg out, right leg comes up. Let the right leg open out to the right, give it some support with a hand underneath. Left arm can be out from the shoulder. You're inhaling out here. Exhale as you bring that leg up. And exhaling, contracting diaphragm and pelvic floor. Inhale out. Exhale, perhaps with a hissing sound or just pursing your lips. Maybe on the exhale, blowing through an invisible straw. Exhale as you bring the leg up. Inhale. Exhale, bring it up. And then slowly let that leg come down. Realizing that an exhale helps a lot. And bring the other leg up, the left leg comes up, left leg comes out to the side, right arm comes out from the right shoulder, give that left leg a little bit of support with the left arm. Inhale as you are in the outer position here. Exhale with a hiss or some kind of little extra contraction. Inhale out. Exhale. Transverse abdominis turned on as well as pelvic floor and diaphragm. So you're inhaling at the extremes and you're exhaling as you move. So you inhale center, exhale as you let the leg come out. Inhale out, exhale as you come up. One last time, inhale center, exhale, inhale out, exhale as you come in, and let that leg come down. Now we're going to bring one leg up and cross it over the other, one thigh crossing over the other. Bring the knees up towards the chest. Inhale, and as you exhale with a hissing sound or pursing of the lips, bring the head and shoulders up and knees to get towards the chin. Inhale, relax down. Exhale, put forth the effort. 3 more times. Inhale down. Exhale as you put forth the effort. Pelvic floor, diaphragm, transverse abdominis, all working. Probably the multifidus are too. I just can't feel them as well. And bring it down. Uncross the legs. Cross the other leg over the other thigh. Bring them up towards the chest, taking a little stretch there. Inhale as your head and shoulders are back. Exhale as head and shoulders rise towards knees. Inhale back. Exhale. Inhale back. Exhale. One last time. And bring it back. Bring the soles of the feet together. Knees are wide, relaxing down through diaphragm and pelvic floor. Then as you exhale, bring knees up slightly towards each other and inhale down. Fingers can come to the transversus abdominis again, feeling that slight engagement as the knees rise slightly in the butterfly. Inhale wide, exhale as knees rise slightly. That's synergy between body and breath. One last time. Then let's roll over onto our sides. And you can bring your head down to rest on your elbow. Top arm, the hand is in front of you. Knees are bent in a V, just a gentle V. And we're going to keep the feet together as this top leg lifts up. So we'll inhale as it's down, then exhale with the effort of bringing it up. Bring it down, inhale, exhale up. You can put in that extra hissing sound or pursed lips if you'd like. Inhale as it's down, exhale up. Two more times. Then let's come up, giving the shoulder some support, forearm underneath it. Bring the knee up to nose, nose to knee. Then let the leg extend out. Let the hand come down the shin and open up with an exhale. Inhale and exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, exhale as the leg comes up. And if it's more comfortable to come down, come on down. It's a little hard to know exactly where to be on this one. And then bring the hand down the shin and exhale as you open through the hip flexor. Inhale, exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, exhale, lift the leg. Inhale, exhale, stretch the quad and the hip flexor. So I'm holding my ankle or my foot back here, or piece of clothing. One more time. Inhale, exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, exhale, lift leg, flex foot. Inhale, exhale, with the quad stretch. Letting that go, let's come to the other side and do the same thing over here, starting with the clam. So knees are together, feet stay together. Inhale in this position, exhale as the top knee comes up. Inhale down, exhale, rise. And continue 3 more times. Last time. Now we're going to bring knee to nose. Decide how much height you want in your head. Exhale as the knee comes to the nose. Inhale. Exhale as leg reaches up, flex foot. Inhale. Exhale as you open the quad and the hip flexor. Inhale, exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, leg lifts up. That's the exhale. Inhale, and then exhale as you open through the hip flexor. And one last time. Inhale, exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, exhale, foot up. Inhale and exhale as you pull back and open through the quad. Then we're going to bring ourselves into a tabletop position. So making your way there with your hands under your shoulders and your knees under hips. Wiggle the hips around a little bit, maybe doing little hip circles back here. Feeling the pelvis waking up just a little bit more. Imagine those bones articulating with each other. And then as you go around the opposite direction, imagine the muscles, the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, the transversus abdominis in the front, and then all those little ilium in the back. Not ilium, sorry, multifidus in the back. And then come back through center. And then taking the cat-cow, observing the pelvis as it moves, first the top down and the bottom up, and then the bottom down and the top up. Just being aware of the fluidity and the movement through the pelvic bowl. And then make sure that you are moving with your breath. Bringing that synergy between the pelvic floor and the diaphragm into play. And it happens naturally. We don't have to make it happen. We can emphasize it. And coming back through center, tuck your toes, bring your hands just a little bit farther forward than they were, a little farther forward from the shoulders, then slide the sits bones back with an exhale. Inhale up, exhale back. Inhale up, exhale back. Notice the sits bones parting company from each other a little farther, and then when you come up, they float together. So this is just a good, gentle exercise to keep fluidity through the bottom of the pelvic bowl. Now we're going to come into something a little bit more challenging called the bear crawl. Hands will be under shoulders, tuck toes, and bring the knees up slightly. So I'm bringing the knees just an inch or two above the mat. If you can't do this, just crawl, and that also has value. So either way, either crawling or tuck toes, knees up a bit, alternate hand and knee go forward as you make your way up the mat. This is good for the multifidus. This bilateral movement gives some challenge to those little muscles between the vertebrae. Come down for a moment, let's take a little stretch. And then coming back up, either crawling or doing the human crawl or the bear crawl. As you come forward, challenging that multifidus muscles a bit. And then bringing yourself down. Let's come down into a prone position. And again, for the multifidus, coming into locust, stretching down with one leg, then stretching down with the other, stretching forward through the crown, and lifting up through head, shoulders, and legs and arms. Holding here, you can feel the pubic bone beneath you, perhaps the bottom of the ribs. Little lift through the back of the pelvic bowl bottom, and bring it down. Hands come under the shoulders, tuck the toes, and come up into a downward dog. Take a moment to open the backs of the legs as the heels paddle up and down, strong and long through arms, sides of the body long, hips coming back. Bring the weight into the left foot, right foot rises up behind. And then either come down on your knees or bring the foot through. So my right foot is coming through, back knee comes down, and both of my hands are inside that right foot. So on the inner side of the right foot. Bring that right foot out towards the edge of the mat slightly, and you can let your knee just wiggle back and forth a little bit. And be careful of any range of motion here, but it brings some opening through the groin, hip joint, and pelvic bowl. And then bringing the hands down flat once again, coming back into downward dog. This time the left foot is going to rise up, push into the hands, rise up a little bit more, and then coming through knees or bringing it under belly. Come into a knee down lunge. The knee is back a little farther behind the hip. Hands are inside, both hands inside the left foot comes out just slightly to the edge of the mat, and that might be enough for you just to have it out a little ways. Experiment with just a slight movement in the knee and hip joint and just see how that feels, but it's not something that should be overdone. The lizard pose. And bring that knee back. One more time, up into downward dog. Just a nice stretch back, long through the spine. Lifting up on toes and down and up and down and up. One more time. Then walking forward and bringing hands back to meet the feet. Inhale in this forward fold position. And as you exhale, slowly unwind. Aware of the strength of the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, the transversus abdominis, and probably all sorts of other muscles that we don't even know about. And let's come up into a standing position. So coming into mountain, once again coming into that breath where you're aware that on the inhale, the pelvic floor dips down, the diaphragm dips down, and then symmetrically on the exhale, they come up together. Just gently feeling that. Pelvic bones are centered and balanced. The weight of the head, shoulders, organs all coming down on the pelvic bowl. So they have to bear a lot of weight. They need to be centered and balanced. And they're centering and balancing, coming down onto the heels and across to the mounds of the first, second, third toes. The natural curves of the spine, in and out, in at the waist, and in at the neck. Now let's bring, hands back behind on the inhale. Exhale, hands come up. Inhale back. Exhale up. Little by little, hands are going to rise. Breath and body moving together. Come up on tiptoes if you would like. And let this be the last time. And bring it down. Bring both arms up overhead. Just standing there for a moment in your mountain pose. Pelvis well balanced and centered. And feel the support from the feet up through the pelvis, up through shoulders, allowing engagement to be just enough to support these arms as they hold themselves up, but aware of everything that's holding these arms up, not only the muscles of the shoulders and back, and then bring them down. Bring the weight into the left foot, right arm reaches up, become long on the right side, droopy on the left side as you come over, exhaling over. Inhale up and down. Hand comes down the midline, Other arm comes up and over. Feel the synergistic contraction in the pelvic floor and the diaphragm. One more time on each side. Come back through mountain. Hands are on the hips. Left foot and leg become the foundation leg. Feel that energy coming up through the body for support there. Inhale in this position. Exhale with a hissing sound or pursed lips as your right foot comes out onto its toe, and hold it there through the exhale. Bring it back on the inhale. Exhale it out. Inhale in. Exhale out. All of those muscles engaging. Inhale in. Exhale out. Inhale in. This time we'll bring it out to the side. Exhale. Hold it out. Inhale in. Exhale to the side. One more time. Bring that foot in and let the right foot become the foundation leg. Strength up through that side of the body, a lifting up. Knee is firm but not locked. Inhale. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Now exhale to the side. To the side. One last time. And come back through center. Bring feet wide. Arms come out. Turn slightly from the waist. Notice what the body does when you do this. The muscles that are coming into play, engaging in a healthy way. In order to allow this to happen, you need this strong base that allows the top of the body to move. The pelvic bowl and all of those muscles we've been talking about are very important here. Let the feet be a little soft. Maybe we don't need so much tension there. We don't need tension through the neck or the face. And come back through center and bring it down. Let's make our way to a lying position. To have a few moments of relaxation. Coming back to that wholehearted breath. Feeling the diaphragm expanding and contracting. Now aware of the symmetry of the pelvic floor as it expands and contracts with the diaphragm. Feel the relaxation of the transversus abdominis and the multifidus. Letting what you can relax and sink into the earth wholeheartedly, part of this earth upon which we live. Knowing that we belong, that we are worthy of love. Relaxing down through the back of the neck and the back of the waist, backs of thighs and calves, the bottom of the feet, between the shoulder blades, the palms of the hands. And just allow yourself 5 or 6 wholehearted breaths, body and breath in complete synergy. Feel free to lie here and relax. Namaste. Thanks for practicing. See you the next time.